Everyone, and welcome to today's SMPS webinar on how to apply to become an SMPS Fellow. So we have lots of information to cover today, so I'm going to go ahead and get things started. So first, I want to go over briefly what we're going to cover today, which is the program overview, and then we will go over eligibility requirements, the program timeline, the application process, and updates to the 2024 application, the criteria, tips and takeaway, and then at the very end, we will have a Q&A session. And I just ask that if you will please type your question in the question and answer tab at the bottom of your screen, and we will cover those questions at the very end of the program. So some of you may not be familiar with the SMPS Fellows program and exactly what is an SMPS Fellow. So let me just go over briefly what that covers. So an SMPS Fellow is an outstanding individual who has made an exceptional contribution to the profession of marketing and business development in the AEC industry and to the society as a mentor. Fellows often serve as a resource to our chapter and the society and provide insight, ideas, programs, and mentoring support. In addition, these individuals teach, write, and speak on marketing issues outside of SMPS, working to advance the profession of marketing professional services throughout the industry. So you may be asking, well, how does the SMPS Fellows program work and what exactly is the purpose of the program? And that is to recognize individuals who have made those exceptional contributions, specifically, as I stated, to the profession of marketing in the AEC industry, as well as the society and as a mentor. And also, as a fellow, you are encouraged to continue your achievement and engagement within the society. So now you may be asking yourself, well, why should I apply to become a fellow? What's in it for me? What's that ROI statement? There's lots of benefits to becoming an SMPS Fellow. Of course, there's recognition within the society, career advancement, gaining credibility, more volunteer opportunities to serve, professional development, and the overall group knowledge base of being a part of the Fellows community. Your role as a fellow increases your options for educational opportunities, networking opportunities, and of course, will expand your opportunities to give back to the society. And those can be in roles such as speaking engagements, leadership roles within the society, both at the chapter, regional, and national level, and also participating on certain initiatives like the SMPS Foundation. You have writing opportunities, speaking opportunities, lots of options once you become an SMPS Fellow. So now I'm going to go over the eligibility requirements to apply to become an SMPS Fellow. To be considered, you must have 15 years of AEC or marketing or business development experience. You must have your current CPSM designation. You must have been a member of SMPS for the past 10 of the previous 15 consecutive years and currently be a member in good standing. And of course, complete the application, which includes your statement of intent, education, work history, contributions, and endorsement and testimonial letters. There are some limitations and rules that apply to the Fellows program. No more than 5% of the SMPS membership may be a fellow at any given time. There are no limitations on the number of fellows within an SMPS chapter. Jurors reserve the right to name no fellows in any given year. The jury's decision is final. There is no appeals process. The fellow's title is valid only for regular SMPS members, Weld Cox Marketing Achievement recipients, distinguished life members, and retired members in good standings. One must remain an active SMPS member to remain a fellow. All fellows as of 2016 are required to maintain their CPSM designation to keep their fellow status. And fellows must agree and commit to all SMPS member and volunteer policies. Now let's go over this year's timeline. As you know, the fellows application opened on November 1st, so it's accessible today. Your draft statement of intent deadline is January 12th, and that is a new process this year. It's not a new component of the application, but it is a new process, and I will cover that in just a moment. The final application deadline is March 25th, and the application notifications will be done in the end or at the end of April, and that will apply to both those that are selected as well as those that were not selected for the 2024 program. So let's go ahead and dive in to the Fellows application, which is available online with the URL that you see there. I've also posted this in the chat, so you can copy and paste it there. But this is the online portal for all applications for fellows. It also serves as our portal for the MCA program and other national award programs that we host. And this login information is separate and different than our SMPS membership. So it unfortunately is not a single sign-on. You will need to create your own password and login information account for this portal, and it is separate from the SMPS information. It is very easy to do. You will simply put in your email address, which is the unique identifying field, and then your contact information, and then the option to create a password. At any time you forget that password, there is a lost password link on the login box, and you are able to reset that password. They will email you a reset option link, and then you can do it through the system. If you already have participated in the program in the past, or maybe you have submitted a fellows application in the past, you are considered already in the system. And if by chance you've forgotten that password, just simply click the lost password option and you'll be able to reset that password and log in. The first thing I want to encourage everyone to do once you get your account set up in the portal is to download the application requirement PDF. This link is available on the website. It's on that homepage. It's also available in the navigation bar. This document contains all the criteria and information that you need to submit your application. And so this way, for those of you, instead of looking at it all online, if you would prefer just to have it in one document, it is available in this PDF document. And I also included that link in the chat box for you as well to access. So let's go ahead and dive into the fellows application. There are 5 sections to the application. We have updated, I will say, the look and feel of this year's application to simplify, to make it a little easier for you to navigate between the different sections. And as I stated earlier, the new section is regarding the the candidate information and statement of intent, which was formerly known as the candidate statement. The purpose or the criterion associated with the statement of intent is still the same, but we have moved that process or that portion of the application to the front of the application, and we're asking for you to submit the draft of that by January 12th of this year. So in this very first section that you see here in blue, candidates information statement of intent is the very first page of your application. So very straightforward. It is asking you to submit your contact information and then the section, which I will show you in just a moment. But the overall application still has the same 5 sections, which is that contact information, statement of intent, which has been combined, your education and work history section, your contributions made to the profession as also to the society and as a mentor, and then your endorsement and testimonial letter section, and then the very last section, which is essentially a media release information, which is the information you'll provide us if you are selected to become a fellow. So covering this first section, the contact information statement of intent, it's very straightforward. This is where you will input your contact information, first, last name, your title, the corporate company, your current company, place of employment and address, as well as the phone number, which is very important so that we can reach you to notify you of the status of your application, your member number, the year you became a CPSM, and then that last section, which is the statement of the statement of intent, which is a 700-word field where you will basically explain to the jurors, why are you applying to become an SMPS fellow? And as an SMPS fellow, what will you do? So you'll see I'll cover this in a little bit more detail further along in the program, but this is the area that you will complete that information. And then you will see those blue navigations at the bottom. They're at the bottom of every section of the application, and you simply will hit save or save and next. And please note that at any time between now and March 25th, you have the ability to go in and edit your responses on the application. So that's why I'm stressing that for your draft version, feel free to put this information here. If you want to change it later on in the course of the application process, you are welcome to do that. It just has to be done by the final deadline of March 25th. So this is where you would put this first section information. And then the next section is your education and work history. You have the ability to upload 3 of your 3 degrees. And then you, under your work history, you have, I believe, the option of up to 15 different places of employment, your work history there. And you will see, you'll list the time that you were at the place of employment, your title, and a brief description of your role and how that would apply to your application process for becoming a fellow. I'll go over that in just a little bit more detail when we get into the criteria, but I just wanted you to see that this is exactly how the application looks. And again, the navigation of it, where those options are at the bottom of the application on every single page, where you can go back and forth, you can save and move to the next section. And it is okay if you're not able to complete the whole section. You are able to go with that within the application and do it as you are able to get that information concluded. The next section is the contributions area, and this would be I will say, the bulk of the application. This is where you're going to list your contributions to SMPS, to the profession, and as a mentor. And these response sections are obviously a lot more involved than the other portions of the application, and this is all in one section. And again, I'll encourage you to write those responses separately in a Word document, and then you can cut and paste that responses into here. And that will also help you with your word count, which I will go over in just a moment, but that word count is important, and it is, we'll say, finite, meaning if you go over that word count, it won't allow you to save and move on. You're going to have to keep it within that word count limit. So that's really important. And that's really to the benefit you, to keep you on point and targeted with the information that's being requested. It also, of course, in turn helps the jurors so that they're not having to go through a lot of descriptive information, that they can get to the essence of your responses and be able to get that information as thoroughly and as clearly as possible. Section 4 regards the endorsement and testimonial letters. Just to clarify, the endorsement letters are to reference your chapter leader letter, the chapter leader who's going to write a letter on your behalf, and then the prodigy letter, who's going to be written by your prodigy and written again on your behalf. So they're endorsing you, and that's the purpose of those 2 letters. Then the remaining 5 letters are, one is to be from an SMPS fellow, one is to be from an SMPS member, and then the other 3 are your choice of people that you would like to write a testimonial letter on your behalf. Of course, when you're sourcing these letters, you want to make sure that you're selecting people that obviously know you well and also can speak to what you are putting in your application. And I'll go through exactly how that will look on the criterion side so that you can see you have the opportunity to explain that. Here, we offer an explanation field or box. It's just 1 or 2 sentences that we're looking to help explain to the juror why this person was selected or your relationship with that person, just to give the jurors a little bit more backstory on how you know this person that's endorsing you or writing your testimonial letter. And this is, again, it's just another screenshot to give you a little bit more idea of what that looks like as far as your PDF upload of those testimonial letters, and then the section to put the description on how you know that person. Also, please note that at the top of the navigation of this section of the awards portal is a link to the fellows roster in case you are looking for some names and just trying to jog your memory of fellows that you may know or have met in past networking opportunities or programs that you've attended or participated in. The fellows roster is linked on the portal, so you can easily access that. And if you have any questions and need to, contact information, please feel free to reach out to me at headquarters, and I will make sure that you have that information. At the very end of that endorsement testimonial section is that confirmation and signature, just making sure that you understand what it means to apply to become a fellow and the agreement by submitting your application. We ask that you include your name at the bottom of the application on that section 4. And then last but not least is that I call it the fun part. This is where we ask you to submit your name again as you would like it to appear in our media release of the class announcement if you are selected. Of course, your job title, your firm name, city, state, and then a brief press ready bio on what you would like us to include regarding your description when the announcement is made if you are selected. We also at the end ask that you upload a current professional headshot, so that will be also included in the release. And please note that this section of the application is not accessible to the jury at all. This is simply for if you are selected to be a part of the class. So the next section is regarding the scoring criteria, and this obviously is very, very important. And so everyone understands the amount of points that are allocated to each criterion. So I'm going to kick off and I'll go through each one of these sections separately so you can see the points allocated as well as the purpose behind the criterion. For the first section, as I stated earlier, we've simply taken the statement, the candidate statement, and moved it to the front. It's worth 20 points, which is significant. And what you are doing here is you're answering the question, as a fellow, I will. This is a new process because before this would have just been submitted with the rest of your application all at one time. But we are asking you to go ahead and put the thought in putting that statement together now. And we're asking for the draft copy of this statement by January 12th. And there is a significant reason behind this. Based on juror feedback, we noticed that it was at the very end of the application process previously, and the jury felt that it would be very helpful for applicants to kind of put this thought together at the beginning, and it will help frame your application throughout the whole process. So you're addressing that question, as a fellow, I will, like why you are becoming a fellow. And this way you can go ahead and answer that question right off the bat. You have, of course, now until January 12th to put that. Please note, this is very important, that this is not going, the draft copy is not going to be judged by anyone. I will simply be noting that it has been submitted and that you can continue the application process, and then you can go back, finesse your response, obviously, until until March 25th. So you have plenty of time to go back and finesse it. We're just asking that you submit that draft copy by January 12th. And there is a 700 word limit on that, which is very gracious and enough space for you, or enough content wise to provide the response to that specific question. The next section is your education and work history. Your education is not worth any points, but what this does do is it just gives the jury a little bit of background information on your education. And then your work history is worth 5 points. And here you just want to make sure you provide your background describing your marketing or business development experience in each position, and include information regarding those levels of responsibility within that marketing and business development position, and decisions that were made that you were a part of or responsible for. You also want to note any management roles that includes including in your statement, how you feel your experience has prepared you for this fellow's designation. So it's a great opportunity to incorporate and combine that career experience and why you're applying to become a fellow. The next section is the highest points allocated part of the criteria, which is your contributions made to the profession. Again, this information is in that PDF document. Of course, it's on the website, but just want to make sure everyone understands that you want to focus on contributions that are related to at least three of the following topics, which is marketing research, marketing education, business development, marketing and communication programs, innovative marketing approaches or technologies, peer association outreach, and then client organization involvement. So those are the areas. If you can highlight at least 3 of those, there's a 600 word limit, so plenty of bandwidth there to supply a response for this specific criterion. And then within that is the considerations that you might want to also try to focus on, which is maybe progress made in a firm towards a profession, outreach to the AEC industry beyond SMPS. This is where you'd want to include peer client organizations that you may be a member of. Impact contributions and demonstrating the value of marketing, sustained nature of those contributions, any writing, speaking, training opportunities that you've done within your firm or within for the profession. This is also where you would reference your mentoring. It's separate from your mentoring section. This is regarding mentoring other than a direct report, someone, leadership at your firm, someone working possibly at another company. This is a different response than the mentoring section within the criterion, but this is something that maybe you had a mentoring opportunity with a peer organization. This is where you would mention that. And then individual accomplishments as opposed to a member of a team or a committee. So again, that individual achievement that you have had within the profession. The next section, which is worth 15 points, is going to focus on your contributions made to the society. And this is providing us some summary with evidence and specific examples of significant, sustained contributions to SMPS. You want to definitely provide those specific examples of leadership. Perhaps you served on the chapter board, you served in a leadership role on one of the volunteer committees at your chapter, perhaps you worked at the regional level, perhaps you've been involved on a national role. You just want to make sure that you include those specific examples. Within the application, you have the ability to list those roles and also awards and accolades that have been received while you have been a member of SMPS. So you don't have to worry about those involvements counting towards this word count limit, which is 500. You'll have a section within each of those that you have the ability to list those roles and identify those accolades separately. So again, that's your contribution. So, society and regional level, leadership roles, significant sustained contributions, individual accomplishments, the level of leadership roles at the chapter, and then that's something that the endorsement letter from your chapter leader will also play into this specific contribution criteria within the application. The last contribution section is that contribution as a mentor. This is worth 15 points as well. There is a limit on only 250 words for this section, but basically you want to make sure that during the mentoring process that the prodigy was not a co-worker or an employee of the candidate. So this is someone outside of your management role. This is someone that you can have clearly defined the relationship as a prodigy and give specific examples of should include one-on-one mentoring outside the candidate's firm and leadership participation in a mentoring program. So that is where this information would be submitted. And referencing that prodigy letter, that letter should discuss only the mentoring process and benefits to the prodigy. It is not to be a general testimonial type letter that you're going to get from those other sources. This is to be specifically endorsing the candidate, your skills and experience and contributions to SMPS in the profession that you have contributed as a mentor. And then also please note that these considerations such as should contain specific examples, display significant career progression of the prodigy, and active, structured, and one-on-one support provided by the candidate. Again, all these details are in the PDF document. Now then, moving on to the testimonial letters, which are worth 10 points. I'm not going to read this whole thing. Again, this is in that PDF, but it's going to be a total of 5 letters. One needs to be from an SMPS member, one will be from an SMPS fellow, and then the remaining 3 letters will be from your choice of sources, and then you have the ability to explain those relationships in this application process as well. So a total of 7 letters, one from a chapter leader, one from your protege, one from an SMPS member, one from an SMPS fellow, and then the 3 additional letters that you can select at your preference. And then the last points allocated to the associated with the criteria is the quality of the submittal. This will be that look and feel of the application. Again, you're simply responding. All the information is captured on the online application. You are not uploading any type of additional information to support this or a separate document. So we do just allocate 5 points to this. The juries are looking for, of course, well-written, concise information that's been provided by you, and obviously making sure that you check for grammatical and spelling errors. And this is just a reminder that you certainly want to make sure you have someone in your circle go through your application and your responses. So you should obviously create this your responses in maybe Word or some type of word processing application, and print it out and just allow someone else to just glance over it, read through it, to proof it, to make sure that those spelling or grammatical errors have been addressed. So again, just some real quick tips and takes away. You want to conduct a readiness assessment just like you would for your projects, or like a go, no go statement. Are you ready? Are you ready to apply? Do you have this information that we've covered that is going to be requested of you? You have lots of time to put this information together, almost 4 months worth of time to get this information together. But you want to go ahead and do an inventory now and conduct that self-assessment and just make sure that you are ready to go ahead and submit. You want to take time, you want to reflect, you want to remember and revise. It's comes through a lot of times during our debrief calls where applicants that did not get selected realize like, oh, I didn't include that, or I should have included that. I didn't think about that. So you really want to do a really good inventory of what your contributions have been to the profession, to the society, and of course, as a mentor, and get those thoughts written down. You want to approach this obviously with the right attitude. Ideally, if morning is your time, your go time, then just work on it a little bit each day in the morning, or maybe it's afternoon, maybe during your lunch, or maybe at night when you have a chance to kind of sit down and reflect. Pick a time that you have the space and you feel good about writing about yourself, because just like that little icon next to it, we want you to toot your own horn. We want you to shout from the rooftops why you deserve to become an SMPS fellow. And it's your chance to talk about you, market yourself, and let us know why you want to become a fellow, and the achievements that you made, the contributions you've made. And this is the time to do that. Don't be shy. Definitely don't be shy. And just a couple more thoughts. Definitely be thoughtful about that candidate statement. Please don't stress or not apply because you're not happy maybe where you are on January 11th with that statement, because again, you can go back and finesse it, but you want to right now, today, start thinking about that question. As an SMPS fellow, I will. And go ahead and start putting down your thoughts, so that can be captured and submitted by the deadline. You want to make sure you have measurable contributions. The judges love data. It really makes their job a lot easier when you have measurable results that, I did this by this percent, or I worked with such and such for so many years, or I was able to increase participation. Any measurable contributions you can include in your application are extremely helpful and encouraged. Make sure you do pick that meaningful mentorship outside your firm, because that's going to definitely be reflected in that application information. And the juries want to see, how you basically mentored in your contributions to that candidate. And make sure you have purposeful testimonial letters. You want to make sure that you source people who know you well, know your experience, and even if it's outside your firm, maybe it's with a peer organization, someone that can speak, to you and knows you well and can provide a nice testimonial letter on your behalf. So I just want to show a quick reminder about our deadlines for this year's program, that draft statement of intent, January 12th, 2024, and then the final application is due March 25th, 2024. Oh, and I do get this question every now and then. Is that Pacific time, East Coast time? We are asking that everyone have these submitted. I normally give the deadline of like 11:59 p.m. That helps the West Coast folks out. If you have any questions or issues regarding the deadline, please let me know. It is tight because we have to get the jury ready to go through the applications, but we want to make sure you don't have any issues. So most importantly, which I'll go over in just a moment, but you want to get into that application and get familiar with it as soon as possible. So a reminder regarding notifications, all candidates will be notified of their status by the fellows jury chair once the results are finalized. The notifications typically occur at the end of April, and they are done via phone. I put the little phone icon just as a reminder. So that is really important to make sure the phone number that you list on your application, that's the number that will be used to reach you to let you know the status of your application. And just a reminder, the jury's decision is final. There is no appeals process. However, if you are not selected, we do schedule the opportunity to do debriefs, which we will start conducting in June. We are not able to do them right away. We will have those because we want to make sure we have a schedule available and can set up a time and a meeting with the jury chair as well as myself, and we will go through the jury evaluations with you and just give you pointers on areas of improvement for your application so we can encourage you to apply again next year or the following. A reminder, there is an application fee of $250. This application fee is waived for anyone who has already applied to become a fellow and was not selected in the past 3 years. And if by chance you are applying again, you simply need to reach out to me and I will provide you a discount code so that that application fee is waived for those that are reapplying. So my final thoughts real quick on what your next steps are, just to make sure you can hit the ground running after this presentation. So go ahead and start that application today. There is no harm going in, even at the final, let's say, I don't know, March 21, you're like, I guess I'm not going to do this. The sooner you get into it and get familiar with it, or as you say, get your feet wet, the better it is for you, because you cannot mess up. You can go in, put those responses in there, get that and save it. And then you can go back and finesse and edit and proofread and, adjust as you get through the application. So you do not want to wait until March to input the information. Even if you're working in a Word document, which I would obviously strongly encourage, you don't want to wait and then put everything in the application right before the deadline, because sometimes you might have issues. Maybe the word count is off, or maybe the PDF doesn't upload. I can't stress enough to go ahead and start getting into the application and getting familiar with it. And you can do that literally right now. And then, of course, I put the link for downloading the PDF of the requirements. It's on the website. It's on the portal. It's linked there. I try to put it as in many places as you can find it. But again, all the information that you're hearing is available. The criteria information is in that document. So please make sure you have that PDF downloaded. And then a reminder that section 1, get that contact information in there in that draft statement of intent. And then also, this is a great time to reach out to those endorsement and testimonial letter sources. I would go ahead and identify them as quickly as possible. A couple questions that do come up occasionally, and a lot of times those sources will reach out to me directly, which is totally fine. They are able to write testimonial letters for more than one candidate. There's no limit to that. And that is regarding the fellows, because we understand that there's obviously a limited number of fellows that you can reach out to. So it is no issue to reach if multiple candidates reach out to the same fellow. That is not an issue. The same can apply to the member, also the chapter leader. That is not an issue. You are not being judged by who you've selected. We just want to make sure that you have options, and we want to make sure that you identify them as quickly as possible so that they can start thinking and putting those letters together. A lot of time, the people that are submitting these letters, they want your feedback, so they want to share the letter with you and to say, hey, are we on the right page here? So just please make sure that you give them time to put that letter together, and it helps them as well. So you want to make that a positive experience for them. And then again, a friendly reminder, please reach out to me if you have any questions in this process. We really want to make this application as easy as possible and the whole process as easy as possible. And I want to help you any way I can. So please feel free to reach me via phone. My email address is right there, and I am more than happy to assist you or get you in contact with someone that can assist you as well. And again, here's my contact information. And we did have a couple questions come in during our live presentation of this program. And I'm going to go ahead and cover those now. So one question, this is a great question. It states, I meet all the criteria aside from being an SMPS member for 10 years. I have attended and participated in SMPS for my entire 20 plus years, but I don't have the 10 years as a member. Should I wait until I have 10 years to submit? And the response to this is yes. That is one of the eligibility requirements. We are not able to modify that. So you do have to be a member of SMPS for 10 years. If anyone has questions about their membership status, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to look at your membership record and clarify and give you that information if you need it. Oh, great. Another great question that came. Oh, a couple questions that have come in. Who will be on the judging committee? That's a great question. Our fellows jury is an anonymous jury. The names are not disclosed or shared. Past jurors or, our current jury, that information is not shared. So a lot of times people are concerned, well, what if I reach out to have a fellow write a letter of recommendation and they are no longer or they're on the jury? They will simply reply to you that they are unable to provide that letter for you. They just politely decline because they're not allowed to endorse a candidate. So that's how that works. So please don't worry. Go ahead and reach out to who you want to reach out to. And if by chance there's a conflict, they will let you know that they're just not able to judge. And then oh, great. Another question regarding, is there an opportunity to get early feedback on my statement or submission? And yes, if you have any questions about maybe what one of your responses, we will align you with a fellow that can volunteer and help you if you have any questions about your submission or statement. It will not be judged, and they will also not be accountable for their help. But if you would like to talk to a fellow to have some guidance or some just help with your submission or review process, please reach out to me and we will share fellows that have volunteered to serve that purpose. And the next question is, if our chapter has an official mentor prodigy program, can I use someone there? And the answer to that is yes. That would be a great example to use for the mentoring example. And okay, another question. So for all the information that we're submitting, it is all written. There's no graphics or PDF uploads that we need to submit. And that is correct. It is all information is being collected on the online application. There is no need to put together a beautiful, created graphic out, laid out submission. And kind of in tandem with that question, any ability to include supplemental materials such as like awards won. That, like I stated earlier, there is a section under that contributions to SMPS where you can list the roles that you've served and any awards and accolades you've received in the society. Also, articles written or contributions, speaking opportunities. There's sections within the SMPS portion of the application where you can include that information, but it's simply just outlining it, bulleting that information versus uploading a PDF document. Oh, and we have one more question that came in. Should our testimonial letters be sent to the candidates or to SMPS directly? And also, should we submit a total of 7 letters or 5 letters, including the prodigy and chapter president? That's a great question. I know it can be confusing. So thank you for asking about the testimonial letters. all letters need to be submitted actually to you, because you will be uploading those with your application. So it's your responsibility to upload those letters. So they do not need to be sent to headquarters. They can still use our address if they're doing an official formal letter. It can be to the fellow jury, can be who it can be made to, and then the SMPS address, which I'll show up on my screen in just a moment as the physical address if they're doing a formal letter, which we would encourage you to do. But yes, that would be submitted by you in that testimonial section. And then it is a total of 7 letters, and that is that's including the chapter leader letter, the prodigy letter, and then the testimonial letters from one SMPS member, an SMPS fellow, and then 3 additional letters of your choice. And that is the total for those endorsement letters. And again, if anything is confusing or you're not sure about, definitely reach out to me, and I'm more than happy to assist you. Thank you everyone for joining me today for this presentation. I hope this was helpful, and I appreciate your time, and best of luck. Thank you.